Hello, wonderful people. Welcome back to my podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for clicking on my shenanigans. I hope that so far you guys have been enjoying listening. Oh my God. Again, I can't start anything by thanking you guys so much because this means the world to me. It has been very therapeutic to press record an episode, upload, and it's funny because I am not really an editor. I don't know how to edit. I would love to learn. I think that's one of my goals for this podcast, to learn how to edit, how to add sound effects. But I like submitting a raw material because as I speak to you, I am thinking. I hope you guys can tell that I'm thinking, I'm processing the ideas that I'm talking about. I'm reflecting live in real time. And that has been very therapeutic, and some of you guys are enjoying the flow. So although I would like to edit and make it fancy, sometimes I feel like I'm not really fancy with my approach. I am appreciative that you guys are tuning in to hear an uncut, raw discussion about whatever topic I'm talking about. And so thank you. I can never stop thanking you guys for that. Hopefully I will get to 100 listeners by the end of December. I'm so close. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much. And it's funny because I have not been consistent with uploading because I've just been busy. I've been, I apply for jobs in my career, in my field. I work as a teacher. I have my blog. Thank you guys for those who listen to my other podcast for tuning in. I saw on my algorithm, the source, it said that it came from Spotify. So thank you again. My blog is a travel blog. It talks about I give travel tips. It's geared towards American, but anyone who's adventurous or who wants to embark on an adventure, please check it out. It's great. It's so therapeutic for me to talk about traveling and help people to travel, because when I think about my 20s, I don't know where I would be without traveling. I feel like traveling raised me. It made me into the comfortable woman that I am. The experience that I've gained through being in China, Belgium, France, the Netherlands, Spain, Italy, Greece, Canada, every place that I've been, it has honestly shaped my being, and I am so happy. I'm so proud of the woman that I am today. I'm proud of the woman that I am becoming. I'm proud of the woman of tomorrow. I'm so proud. So traveling is so close to me. I am a nomad. I am a multicultural kid. I don't know how to be in one place for too long. I am looking to settle in one place, at least for a couple of years, but I know that my life will always be on the air. My life will always be between different cultures, between different identities, different settings, and I like that. I really like that. And so thank you. Please check that out. Thank you for tuning in. And I wanted to kind of continue on the theme of the church. My last episode was about the Christian faith, right? The Christian faith in African history, in Black history, in Congolese history. And I talked about how similar the teaching of the Christian faith is to our African identity, our Congolese identity as a community, right? And in this episode, I will talk about why I left the church, because if you listen to that last episode, you can feel how dear to my heart the church has been, and how my faith has slowly been strengthened by the church, by my Christian community. And it's weird, it's ironic to also hear that that same community, or the breakage of that community, is the reason why I left the church. It's honestly the reason why I left the church. In the last episode, I spoke about the church as a body of Christ, but as a body of people, right? The reason why people go to church, the similarities, the connection that people have to the stories of the teaching of Christ. A widower can relate to the story of Ruth. Somebody who lost everything can relate to the story of Job. Somebody who's been in prison can relate to the story of Daniel, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. You can relate to those stories. And those stories, although they strengthen you, the people who are telling you those stories, their lives, or the way they act every single day impact you understanding those stories. I don't know if that makes sense. So let me explain. I took a class on theology and on like religion in America, right? And there is a decline in people who affiliate with church, right? And some of the people who no longer affiliate with church talk about like the scandals in the Catholic Church, the scandals with pastors and A, B, C, like how churches have become a business. And in a way, it has become a business. It has stopped becoming a union of people to find solutions, to aid communities, to be their brothers' keepers, their sisters' keepers. It has stopped being that. And one of the other reason is the lack of community, right? Because when you turn something into a business, you start thinking about the money value. You stop thinking about the community that you're serving. How is that a pastor? Some pastors in mega churches have jets and all of that. It's good to have riches. God has called upon us to have riches. He said, I have the plans for you, the plan to prosper and not fail. That is in the Bible. So of course Christians are supposed to be prosperous. But how is it that you have people who only think about themselves prospering and they don't care about the community? If you look at the history of religion in the African community, the African American community, or any Black community, the church was the place where people went to share ideas. The church was the place where leaders met during the civil rights movement. The faith, the community, there's power in numbers. That is why whenever candidates want to get Black vote, they go to the church, because they understand that this is innate in their being. This is where they make important decisions. This is where they help people. This is where, at the end of the day, the Bible teaches us, at the end of the day, I will ask you, when I was poor, did you help me? I was cold, did you clothe me? I was hungry, did you feed me? The church has stopped doing that. In the last episode, I told you guys about the story of my mother having malaria and how the church came together. And we are living in a poor place. We're living in a refugee camp. But people came together. That's what the church represented. The church represented coming together, finding solutions together, fixing issues, addressing important issues with the power of the Lord, with the power of Christ, through the faith and of the hopes that we cannot see. The church has lost its foundation. It has lost its community. And as a kid who went to church, not because my parents influenced it on me. I told you guys, I went to church by myself. I was in my underwear when I went to church. I loved the music. I fell in love with the music. I fell in love with the community. I fell in love with unison. As somebody who was drawn by herself to go to church at 3 years old, mind you, because of that community. I have father figures. I have mothers. I don't have a mother. I have one mother that birthed me. I have a mom, but I have mothers that raised me, that cooked for me, that prayed for me, that imparted on me. And it was a hard decision to leave the church, because when we moved to the United States, I lost that community. I lost that community. I went to church thinking that I can find that community, but I didn't. The Bible says when you give with your right hand, your left hand is not supposed to know. When you help somebody, you're not supposed to spread it around like I helped somebody. That's not the Christian. That's not the way Christian lives or are supposed to live. But in these new churches, when somebody help you, they go and tell everybody. When you have a problem and you ask somebody to help you pray, to pray with you, to pray for you, and you tell them why you need prayer for, it becomes a theme in next week's sermon. People have stopped seeing all of God's children as equal. Instead of seeing them as believers who are sharing a common faith, they started seeing them as dollar sign. And it's not wrong to be rich. I want to be rich. My goal is to be a millionaire. And through God who strengthens me, I will become a millionaire. It's not bad to be rich. But how is it? You have mega churches. You have somebody like Joel Osteen who has a big church, but during a hurricane, he refused to let some people in the church that they help pay it for, the church that they help with the light bill. Pastors are no longer teaching about people how to strengthen their faith. They're not. I stopped going to church because I could not separate the message from the messenger. And it's funny because there are some people in society that we hold in high regards. Yes, they are humans, and humans will make mistakes, and humans are allowed to make mistakes, and I give him grace, and I give them grace. Point blank, period. New sentence. When somebody trusts you, when you represent a higher being, not a higher being, but like when you present a figure, a father figure, a spiritual figure, you have to do your darn best to come with clean hands. Men of God have hurt me. Quote unquote, men of God. Women of God have hurt me. And you have to understand, I am 26 years old today. So they have hurt, and I stopped going to church when I was 17. That's when I decided I will never be part of this institution again. So that hurt, and I left Africa when I was maybe 8 or 9. So that hurt was from 9 to 17. So think about like a kid who fell in love with this, who had the Spirit of the Lord, who was called upon by the Lord. I'm a kid. I'm still a kid at 26. Instead of strengthening my faith, you caused me to leave the body that always reinforced my faith in God. Because church is important. Because church is not the building. Church is the people. As a multicultural kid, I always tell people, like, I am not, I do not belong to a country. I belong to a set of people. People that make me feel good. People that encourage me. People that support me. People that move me forward. And the people that I had at church, when I first started going to church, they're the people who are going to eat my bride price. They're going to be the people that I will love to share my dowry with. My childhood pastor, I pray that God keeps him alive, because I would love for him to bless my marriage. But in these new churches, in these like new environments where people have just like forgotten the teaching of Christ. You are teaching one thing, but you're doing something else. You are telling me, do as I say, don't do as I do. When Christ didn't say that, Christ was the example. His example was him going to the cross. He was sent to be an example. Because how were we supposed to believe that, everything that we're believing, if he had like this godlike complex? He was God, but he was God, but he didn't even want to have the godlike complex. So how dare you try to have the godlike complex when the person who is God did not even have a God complex? He made himself human. He made himself like unworthy. He made himself a sinner. He went. A pure man made himself. Was crucified. And I cannot stand people. How do I say this? One of the things that people in the community like to teach me is how to be a godly woman, how to be a real woman. A woman doesn't do this, a woman doesn't do that. And none of them are. There was this convention of women where they were talking about virginity. And at the time I was a virgin when they were having this discussion. This woman looked at me because she thought I was such a sinner. She looked at me, she's like, are you listening? You have to be a virgin. Like, she talked to me as if I wasn't a virgin, not knowing that I was a virgin actually. And I'm looking at this woman like, you got 6 children by 6 different daddy. How the Jesus Lord. How in the world are you going to tell me about virginity? And by the way, none of those men married your ass. Like, church have not become about spirituality. It has become about personality, right? It has become about, let me come and show what type of person I am standing on this podium. It has become about the haves and the have-nots. It has become about popularity context. Who likes the pastor more? Who gives to the pastor more? Who calls the pastor more? Who tells the pastor the entire business? I don't tell people my business. As somebody who loses friends every year, I am at a point where I don't even like friends. Like, I love my best friend. To be honest, she's not even my friend. She's my sister. She's my sister, so that's different. I don't even like friends, to be honest with you. People that I thought I was going to be with for the, and in friendship, I mean, for the rest of my life, I don't even consider them, because I am at a place where my mindset is, do I trust you with my kids? If I'm not around, would I sign your name to keep my kids? Can you be motherly to my kids? That's how I'm thinking these days. Because when I go to work, I work with children. Some teachers are not supposed to be teachers. Some teachers, they're just coming in for the job. Like, they don't show that they care about these kids. Like, the way I love my students, the way I give to my students is the gift that God gave me. And I would like for my children, again, I am a product of great teachers. I am a product of teachers who did not see me solely as a student, but teachers who saw me as a kid that deserved their attention, and if directed correctly, I will move forward. I am a product of great teachers. That is why, at my wedding, my teachers are going to be front and center, because the woman that I am, the woman that I'm becoming, the woman that I've become, is the girl that they raised. So when I'm thinking about my circle, the way I'm defining my circle, the test that I'm putting my circle, the people around me, is like, will I live with my kids? And there were some family members that I would not even dare leave them with my kids. Like, no. And that's how I feel about some people, like most people in churches today. I don't feel like you can celebrate truly with me. I don't feel like you can truly pray with me and for me. I don't feel like I can share my dreams, my wants, my aspiration with you through Christ. I don't think that. So why would I go? Because church is innate in the belief of community. That is why God said, when there is 2 or 3 who are gathered in my name. Because it's cool to gather. You can gather anywhere. But when 2 or 3 are gathered in my name, I am there. But that doesn't mean if you don't have 2 or 3 people, that God will not be there for you. No. Because God said, I am the truth and the light. Whoever comes to me shall be saved. So my salvation does not depend on who I'm praying with. It does not. And people be like, oh yeah, you go to church for Jesus and you not go to church for the community. But churches today have become distractions to people who actually want to listen from Jesus. It has become distractions. It has become like clothes contest, especially for us African. Because when we go to church, Lord. Because, some of us, we don't go out, y'all. We're homebodies. We go to work and we come back home. So the church is the one time where we can like show our new shoes. We can show our new, like we can, like doll ourselves up for Jesus. Christianity was, and I said this, was accepted. Like outside of brutality was accepted, and it continues to be accepted in the Black culture because it resembles our belief in community. And with that community, we lose our identity in Christianity, and we lose our identity in the African community. Like, I will go on where communities should stop, but as somebody who's a product of different communities, different good communities, I will forever be a proponent of communities, because you need somebody. You may not need everybody, but you need somebody. God doesn't come from heaven to bless you. He always sends somebody. And the sad truth is that somebody are not found in churches today. And as somebody who wants to keep her Christian faith, it was time for me to just say goodbye to the building and to the people inside that building. Will I go back to the church, to the community? I don't know. Yesterday I texted my friends. I texted 2 of my girlfriends. I was like, hey, let's schedule a prayer time. because I pray by myself, and I love praying by myself because I can lay everything down, like let everything out in the Lord. But it's also good to pray with somebody. And I'm glad that both of my girlfriends said yes. And starting this week, we're gonna have like a prayer line, because I trust these two girls. I know that they are sent from God. I know they want my best interests. I know they are supportive. I know that not only can I be a blessing to their lives, but they can be a blessing to my life. So yeah, so communities are formed in different ways, and it's not because you lose one set of community that you cannot make a new community. So, yep, that was my spiel. I hope you learned something new. I hope you enjoyed it. Please let me know what you think. Are you a part of a church? Have you left the church? Are you a Christian? Are you a Muslim? Are the things that is happening in the Christian faith, is it also happening in the Islamic faith? If you're Hindu, if you're Buddhist, like how is your religion and community mesh? And yes, let me know. As always, thank you so much. I love y'all. Thank you so much. Talk to you guys later. Bye bye.